How to create a product from an idea. Now, I went through 34 product tries that were pretty much all failures over about 5 years. And then I went through 46 successes after that. What did I learn to understand? What did I understand between those two right there? That's what I'm gonna teach you in this video. And a lot of it has to do with the way I create my products. Let's dive in. Now, I first learned this style of product creation from actually a college professor of mine. Brilliant guy, absolutely amazing. He was very shocking and strange to me though at the beginning. Let me tell you what I mean by that. We went into this semester where all we had to do was start a company. There's no other classes at this college for that semester. All you did was start a company. And if you didn't make money, you failed. Okay, so and the professors did not help unless you came to them with a question. So you think of the challenge of that and how much education that was cool. Now, personally, I was in the middle of product try probably, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And so this is really interesting to me. It was a lot of fun. We got into this semester, and this teacher, this professor, he was the CMO of Denny's and Pizza Hut. He invented stuffed crust pizza. Cool dude, hamana, okay? Great guy. He's a really cool guy, but I asked him once, like, how do you come up with your ideas? He came into this class one day and he goes, I'm gonna teach you guys how to think. And we're like, we thought we knew how to think. And he goes, no, the way you come up with ideas is wrong. And we're like, okay. So he's like, we're gonna practice this. I'll just kind of share with you as we go here. But first off, let's just kind of brainstorm a name for your company. So we got a kid up on the whiteboard, started scribing for what the rest of the company, right? They broke some little teams, like 15 people. And so we just start shouting out company names. Blah, blah, whatever, I can't remember. So it was a lot of years ago now. And as this kid would write on the whiteboard, the teacher was looking at us. And I didn't realize what he was doing at the time until suddenly one of the kids said a name of a company, just an idea that was kind of dumb. And the kid wrote it on there, and another guy in the class was like, like kind of like a scoff, like, huh. And the teacher stood up with a bottle of water and yells, "Bad kitty!" And he sprayed the student in the face with water. And we're all like, huh? What is this guy doing? And he's like, there's no such thing as a bad idea. And he started yelling. He's like, the way you are coming up with ideas is wrong. You're judging every idea. He said, the problem is that when you come up with ideas, you come up and you're like thinking in the confines of mainstream. It's not how cool ideas come around. Cool ideas come when you have a mainstream idea mixed with a ludicrous idea, and you end up with prolific. And I was like, huh. Thank you, stuffed crust pizza guy. All right, interesting. Okay. The semester continued, and we learned a lot of really powerful principles on how to actually create products from an idea, but we also learned how to create ideas. It was really a fascinating semester. I have not stopped using that since. So what I'm going to teach you in the rest of this video here is the latter part of some of this process at a very fast, high level here. I'll tell you where to learn more as well if you want to, but it's how we actually get from idea to product with confidence. Let's keep going. All right, moving into this first principle here, going back to bad kitty spraying guy, awesome guy. We got into another semester or another day, right? We come into class and he's there, and spread out throughout all of the classroom. This is a higher level college class. Play-Doh, popsicle sticks, right? Legos, Lincoln Logs, Connects. Basically, the requirement was to play the entire class while he was teaching. And if we stopped playing, class ended. So, like little kids sitting at this desk in this high-end college, we had to go and this higher upperclassman class, we had to go in and we had to keep playing with stuff. And what he was teaching us is this next piece, which is very, very key. He said, you need to learn how to ideate. Ideate means to come up with ideas, right? And I alluded to a little bit at the beginning of this, where we take a mainstream idea and we mix it with a ludicrous idea and we'll end it smashed together like prolific. Back when the government came up with stealth aircraft, the way they actually came up with it is that they legitimately were pursuing invisible aircraft. They were trying to create an actually invisible aircraft. Now, they didn't, but that actually merged with normal planes, and that's what created the whole category of stealth aircraft that were still undetected. So essentially, they got it done. Very fascinating. Ludicrous, mainstream, prolific, okay? So too many entrepreneurs will judge their ideas when they're creating a product. They're like, how do I turn an idea into a product? Don't judge the ideas, first of all. And what we want to get into is a very playful state. And that's what that guy was teaching us. He said the most boring adults don't know how to do this. They said the most creative people on the planet are very playful people. He's like, that's why I'm having you play with toys. Like little kids, pull out that little inner child, right? And you start playing, you're playing with, I made things, I still do it with my little girls just on their bedroom floor, right? I get down, we're playing with, they love Legos. So we build a lot of Legos together. But accessing that inner child playfulness is a huge gift to entrepreneurs. And so what we're in is the phase of ideation. And all we do is we just kind of idea barf. That's it. And we're just like, oh man, we could solve this problem. Cool, that's the problem that we're gonna go solve. How could we solve it? And so we just come up with all these cool ways that we could go solve that problem. We could solve it like this, we could solve it like this, we could solve it like this. No judgment on the idea. My friend, you watching this right now, there is definitely such thing as a stupid question. I hate that school teaches that. There's no such thing as a stupid question. No, there is. Okay, a stupid question is a question you took no time to try and answer. That's a stupid question. There is no such thing, though, however, as a stupid idea. Because what we do is we take those, and as we're barfing them down, we start to combine them, and our head goes to playground land. We go out to that frontier. We become pioneers and explorers. That's why I love this game. And we come up with stuff that no one's ever thought of and put together cool, compelling solutions to legitimate problems. Oh my gosh, that's all I want to do my whole life. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. Next phase. Now that we've actually created a whole bunch of ideas, we need to actually choose one of them. And this is the one I get the most pushback on. Everyone has you're an entrepreneur, welcome. You probably have 1,000 ideas a day, right? You probably have since this video started, right? That's cool. Gotta do the next step. You ready? With me? Okay, here it is. Prototype. You have to build a physical prototype of whatever the product is you're thinking about putting together. How do we take an idea and turn it into a product? You have to build a prototype. But Steve, my thing's a website or a digital product. I don't care. So was mine in college, and that same teacher made me create. We walked in and there was popsicle sticks and glue and construction paper and Play-Doh, and I had to make a physical representation of my digital website as a prototype, okay? No excuses on this, all right? The reason is because of what comes next, which I'll get to in a moment. Next, what we're doing is we're creating a prototype. Now, let me just pause for a second to tell you that this process comes from a company called IDEO. It is not my process. It is not that teacher's process. IDEO is an idea manufacturing company that Steve Jobs went to create the first mouse for the computer. They created the rocket fuselage. They're the reason your toothbrush is shaped the way that it is. They know nothing about teeth. They know nothing about rockets. They don't know anything about computers. What they have is a process that manufactures creative solutions to intense problems. Okay, so you can go look them up. IDEO, they're super cool, really powerful process, but this is the process that I use when I'm creating products. So how do we take an idea to product? You can't skip this step. You have to create a physical prototype. I'll tell you why in a second. Before going on to this next piece, which none of it works without the last piece, so stick with me here. Please click like and subscribe. We spent a lot of time putting these together for you. I would love to know in the comments down below, what has been the most there's been a few products I've put out that were like, this product is amazing, it's gonna change my life, it's gonna change everyone's life. But I didn't follow the very process I'm teaching you right here, so it failed. Okay, it was part of those early 34 product tries that just sucked, right? And then we went through the 46 successes after that, which was so cool. And it's largely due to a lot of the way the idea came up. So I'd love to know down in the comments below, what's been like the largest product failure you've ever had? All right, so now you've come up with ideas, you created a physical prototype, what do you do with it? Now, the story picks back up. We're not done here, all right? We're back to Bad Kitty Guy, all right? What we had to do is we had to take our prototype and we had to hand it to someone else who represented a dream customer of ours, right? A future dream buyer of ours. Now, the instructions were very specific. If you handed the prototype to a dream customer and your eyes were on the product, you get shot in the face with water. Okay, Bad Kitty. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to hand the product to the person and watch their eyes, because you're trying to capture reaction. They might go, oh. Right? Anything. They might go, sounds good. Whatever the reaction is, you need to capture that knee-jerk reaction. That's the reason why. So what we do is we hand the prototype on over, and I'm watching their eyes, and when they go, I go, oh, why did you do that? Someone give me a piece of paper, right? Okay, wait, why'd you do that? How can we do that? And you thought it was because of X, Y, and Z? Okay, interesting. Now so you get a lot of feedback, tons of it, right? This takes the stress of you being a crazy product creating genius off of your shoulders. It's not really even up to you. If you follow my channel at all, you realize how much I tell you that largely tons of this has to do with being a detective, not a genius. You're just getting good at listening. This is one of the ways we do that. We create a prototype, we hand it to the future dream buyer, and we're like, huh? And they're like, interesting. And they start interacting with it. And we're like, Okay, why'd you do that? How come you did that? Interesting, fascinating. I've done this for info products, software, physical products. It doesn't matter if it's a service, if it's a product, it doesn't matter, okay? This is creative solutioning and very, very powerful. Now, one more piece with this. When you are handing over your prototype to them, you're also not allowed to explain it. That changes the game. If they cannot intuitively pick it up and know how to use it, it's already too complicated. That's what they told us. And so what it forces us to do is to go back to the drawing board, back to ideate, and figure out now with a new set of data, how can we use the data and the way the market reacted to it to now go make another prototype and test. Ideate, prototype, test. Ideate, prototype. And you just keep doing that until you're fine with the reactions that you're getting from people when you hand it back. When you hand the prototype over and they're like, oh my gosh, this is sweet. And I intuitively understand how to use it. And this is going to solve my problems. And you're like, yeah, here we go. Right? Now, if that sounds like a crazy long process, it doesn't have to be. It's actually really, really, really fun. You get to a very fun, innovative state doing this. And it's paid me out emotionally really, really well to pull out cool products like this. I got a cool little gift here for you. If you guys are liking that process, it's something that I teach very in depth, and I've actually done with huge rooms. The largest has been, I think, 300 or 400. We handed out tons of Play-Doh and construction, and it's super fun. If you guys like that kind of process, if you guys like learning how to make products that are actually very carefully crafted to solve cool problems, and you like that style of entrepreneurship, go to internetlaunchsecrets.com. Internetlaunchsecrets.com is a free presentation walking through how I like to sell what those things create. And you also learn more about that process.